I can't do anything. There's nowhere I can go. This is my circumstance. This is the end of it. This is my fate. And what can you do?
I'm Cristy Code Red, and you're listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, where we believe food holds the power to heal or poison, and we believe our society has been misled regarding proper nutrition and weight loss. You're in the right place if you're looking for some straight up truth, because I'm here to shed light on the lies and brainwashing that has taken place over the past 5 decades. Thanks so much for listening.
I'm Cristy Code Red, author, entrepreneur, retired professional boxer, and you are joining us on another episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. Hello and welcome. My gosh, we appreciate you. We really do. We appreciate you rating and reviewing and subscribing, and week after week, month after month, year after year, joining us for our podcast. Because without you, we would not be able to. We need listeners, and so we appreciate you. And Carrie, I do appreciate you being here as well.
Thank you. Yeah. Without all these people listening, Cristy, we would just be sitting in a room of you and I talking. It'd just be like a phone conversation, which I'm not saying they aren't phone conversations, because it kind of feels like that sometimes, but
when we discuss kind of what we want to talk about on a podcast with you guys, we start to discuss it and we say, wait, don't say anything. Save it for the podcast, because we want it to be authentic, and we feel like it is. And definitely today, we're going to share with you some very authentic, very real, very raw stories with you of things that have happened with us and things that could be happening with you. And how do you handle it? Because this podcast is called Control What You Can.
And we have done podcasts similar to this, Cristy, but I think because of things that have happened in your life and my life as of late, this has become so clear to me, just the whole concept of controlling what you can. And I think we were just sitting here and I said, can we talk about control what you can? And Cristy said, yes, let's do it.
Yeah, because I would argue that you can control more than what you think. And a lot of you guys are like, well, I'll tell you what, you paint a scenario and that is your reality, but you've let your mind believe that, well, there ain't nothing I can do. I'm just stuck. I can't do anything. There's nowhere I can go. This is my circumstance. This is the end of it. This is my fate. And what can you do?
Exactly. A lot of times life takes choices away from us. Cristy got sick recently and life took some choices away from her. She wasn't able, and this wasn't even, it was a major thing going on with Cristy, but it wasn't like a horrible end-stage cancer treatment or, immunotherapy that was wrecking her body or, chemo that was wrecking her body. So it wasn't even that, but a lot of you listening, you've been through situations where life and the treatment that you need sometimes feels worse than the disease, than what you're going through. And so life takes choices away from you and your sickness takes choices away from you. It's sort of, Cristy, reminds me of being in labor. So I know you haven't had a baby, but you understand, you were there when Ellie was born. So you get the basic process. And you're super smart on that kind of stuff, but you're laying there, you're in labor, you're in horrible pain, and people are coming in and out of the room. You cannot control what's happening in the sense that they're worried about the health of you, the health of the baby. And I understand home births and everything are different, but it's people running in and out, and people are going to see your girl parts, and people have their hands where you wouldn't necessarily have someone have their hands. And, there's IVs and monitors and beeping, and it's supposed to be a beautiful experience. But in that moment, so many choices are taken away from you. You can only control in that moment how you're going to react. How are you going to breathe? How are you going to respond? Are you going to panic? Are you going to deal with the pain? How are you going to deal with other people in the room? Those are the only things you can respond. Now, that's an extreme example. But when Cristy got sick, if you don't mind me using you as an example, she couldn't respond the way that her organs were maybe swelling. She had no control over that. But she could control how she dealt with it from that point on. But she couldn't make her hepatomegaly go away or her splenomegaly go away. It just wasn't going to. You couldn't do anything about it in that moment.
Right. And it's, let me give you another example. Take you back taking everybody to, let's all go back in time to when I was 18 years old and I ran off with the guy that I had no business being with, the guy that misrepresented himself, that we all grew up with and we thought was a good guy, and ended up he was abusive, both physically, verbally, mentally. He was and still is to this day. And I don't know him to this day. It's just that I do know how evil he, we know. Right. And so I like when you said that, sis, some choices are taken away from you. So that was my choice to be with him. Then he started the abuse, and it started within the first 3 months of being together. And so I did not choose, and I did not ask for that. But what I did do after 9 months of staying with him is I chose to leave. So right. What can I control? I could not control that he hit me. I could not control that he yelled at me in front of people. I could not control the fact that he pushed me out of a moving car. I could not control the fact that he tried to force me into getting a job stripping because we needed money really bad. I didn't do it, but I could not control the way he acted towards me, but I did control eventually my actions, and I eventually left.
That's an excellent example. That is an excellent example. And I think that you decided, instead of staying in that situation for 10 more years and having a couple kids and then being like, well, I can't make any money. I can't. Cristy said, okay, I got myself into a situation that I'm not real proud of, but what do I do now? How do I make the best of a bad situation? And you picked yourself up off the ground. It's one of the best stories ever. And you just kept moving forward. And I recently had a situation, not exciting, like compared to what happened to Cristy getting sick, but I had a horrible case of hives and I'm still battling with them. So if you see my face suddenly break out in red spots, like my daughter said, Mommy, did somebody hit you in the head? I'm like, no, it's just the hives. I had to go to the ER twice. I've been put on prednisone, and I hate prednisone. I understand that a lot of you have to take it, but it's a terrible drug. It messes up your blood sugar. It messes up the way your brain functions. You can't remember things. It's just a weird medicine. So I'm very sorry if you have to be on it. It is really a hard medicine. But all that to say is I can't respond the way my body is. I can't control that. I can't even control my words, but I can control what I choose to eat. So even though I'm on the prednisone, Cristy has worked really carefully with me these last couple of days, and we've come up with a plan, and I'm drinking all my water, and I have a plan in place to control what I can. I can't control the headaches. I can't control the surging blood sugars that go up and down, but I know, Cristy, that I can control, and you've been helping me decide, okay, how are we going to deal with this? Is your water in? Yes. Do you have a headache? Have you laid down for 10 minutes? Yes. Do you take your Tylenol? You know what I mean? So we can't control the variables, but you've helped me come up with a plan on how to control the variables I can. So in your life, yeah, you're going to have prednisone moments. You're going to have ex-husband moments that are horrible, like Cristy's, where you have to pick yourself up off the ground. You're going to have mother-in-law visiting moments. Can I get an amen? You're going to have those moments, and you have got to decide what are the variables you can control. Because like Cristy says, there's probably more than you realize.
Well, you definitely control the last 8 inches from here to here. Nobody's shoving the endless pasta bowl from Olive Garden in your mouth. Nobody's shoving the breadsticks. Nobody's shoving the little biscuits from Red Lobster. Nobody is putting those down your throat. Nobody is making you eat out of the vending machine at the hospital. Nobody's shoving the maple bars from the hospital break room. Nobody is forcing you to have the candy corn out of the, nobody's forced. That is all you. You are dumping the wine down your throat. You are coping with you're coping using fear. You're coping with anxiety, fear, sadness, depression, anything that you're going through, happiness, with food, alcohol, and sugar. So you are choosing that. That is what you would. This is not a concentration camp. This is not torture. We don't live in a country like that. You are choosing the last 8 inches from here to here.
Cristy, and I think that even beyond food, and I realize that this is a company that helps people take their life back, but even beyond food, let's talk about the things that you can control to take care of yourself in these times when things maybe aren't going as well. When Cristy wasn't feeling well, you know what she did? She got to bed on time. She got extra sleep if she needed it. She made sure, even though maybe she had some swelling, she still drank her water every single day. You still got your electrolytes in, Cristy. You still moved your body every single day. You did the things that you knew beyond eating. And that's what I appreciated, that even though you felt like crap, you have such, it's like muscle memory. Like we've talked about how you've been an athlete for so many years that your body just, even if you didn't run for a month, your body would still get how to run. You know what I mean? Because you've been doing it for so many years.
But even more than that, sis, when I was really sick, I relied on you. I leaned on you way more than I usually do. Like I really had to defer to you for mental support, for emotional support, to continue to encourage me, because I didn't have much in me to keep going. It was almost everything I could do to just hold the tears back every time I turned around. And so I needed you a lot, and I knew I needed to turn to you and let you hold me up. And then this last time, while you have been battling the hives, just severe hives. Carrie's not even telling you guys half of it. I've seen the pictures.
They're awful.
She's had to rely on me when it comes to I don't even know how much help I'm giving her, but the fact that her weight is fluctuating, boy, that does a number, because I know she's keeping her diet super, super, super clean, because we're on the same plan right now. She and I we're following the same plan, so we're doing the same thing. But yet she'll wake up and she has so much water retention and swelling that her weight will be up 5 pounds, and she's like, "What the F?"
I know. And I would
like,
just tell Cristy, I would say to Cristy, I'm not going to stress about it. I'm getting the moon face. I'm like, I'm not going to stress about it. I'm just going to, because there's nothing that I can't undo. I have battled 100 pounds plus off my body. I'm not worried about this weight. This is going to be fine. It's just that it does do a number on your head, especially if you are going through, like, Cristy, we've had rebels that have gone through surgery, like emergency appendectomies, and they come to me, they're like, I'm up 10 pounds. I'm like, you had 10 liters of fluid. Like, what? It's okay. You had your appendix, they burst. It's okay. Like, it's going to happen, you know? So I think it's important to lean on your community.
Well, totally. And I think that's just as important. So when we talk about control what you can, yes, you can control your sleep. It depends on the kind of pain or the situation you have. Yes, you can control your water. Again, depends on if this is a kidney problem, whatever. Yes, you can control your food. And yes, you can control who you lean on for support. There is more that you can control than you think. You're just not quite tapping into all your resources.
I think it's easy to get overwhelmed too. Don't you think? Like when you're going through it, you're just like, oh, just give up. Somebody get me a Tyson's chicken microwave dinner and I'm going to go sit in the living room. You know, I just forget this.
I didn't even know they made those, sis. Good job pulling that one up.
I was trying to think of one. I was like, Tyson, Marie. I couldn't think of the name fast enough. Steroid brain. Today I was trying to describe a pair of someone asked me about a stocking that you put on people's leg for compression. And I was trying to write, it keeps slipping down. And I put sleeping around, and they went, the compression stocking is sleeping around. And I was like, no, that's not what I meant. So it is definitely a medicine. No, compression stockings do not sleep around. They slip down though. It was hilarious. They were like, oh, but yeah. And I think that it is really important to know who to turn to. There are people that, I have a good friend. Her dad passed away very unexpectedly recently, about 4 months ago. And she said something very interesting to me. She said, when you go through hard times, it's always interesting who shows up. Who shows up? You know, when Cristy was going through her stuff, I was like right there. I go through my stuff. Cristy doesn't care if I send her 500 pictures of my rashes. She's just like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sure after a while, she's like, it looks like the same rash, just in a different spot. You know, she's okay with it. Hives on my legs, hives on my knees.
I'm sending her a message in the morning and I just say, good morning. How are the itchies? I didn't know what else to say. And she's like, well, this is what's itching and this is swollen. I don't know. I mean, but control what you can.
You knew how to show up. That's what's important. Right. You get how to show up, and showing up for other people doesn't mean you always have to have the answers. I don't expect Cristy to be like, oh, are you starting your 20 milligram prednisone taper today? Are you going to do 30 today and 20 tomorrow? Make sure that you're taking your pep. I don't expect her to do that, but she's just like, what can I do for you? And that's what I did for my friend that lost her father was, can I just listen? How can I show up? So as people who are supporting other people in the rebel community, when people are going through hard times where control and choices have been taken away from them, how can you show up for those people? Because I love the way Joyce Meyer says it. She says, God didn't heal you so you could just walk around being healed. He heals you and he gets you better so you can go be a blessing to somebody else. Mm-hmm. So sometimes when you're going through really hard times, being a blessing to someone else will make you feel better than anything else.
And I think some very well-meaning and highly educated people think they're helping and they love you and they do love you. But I'll tell you, it would not have helped me when I had multiple organs shutting down on my body in May, June, and July. And I was healing. I was pretty healed by July, by August. I tell you, would have not have helped me if Carrie would have said, I'll tell you, let me order at Domino's Pizza and it'll be over in 30 minutes, sis. That would not have helped me. And I was very vulnerable at that moment. And so it would not have helped me if she would have suggested, let me just go get you a Diet Coke, sis. It would not have helped me. I needed to keep my food clean and keep my water up and stay the course. I needed to keep taking my medication, keep getting in bed on time, keep my stress levels down. I needed to stay in touch with my doctor. I needed to continue to go in for my testing. I didn't need Domino's Pizza. I didn't need Haagen-Dazs. I didn't need cake pops. I didn't need a caramel macchiato. And some of your well-meaning and loving friends that love you, that's what you need, because that'll make you feel better. And guys, I caution you, you're not going to find that in the Code Red community. You're not going to come into our Code Red network where we have almost 10,000 people in our app right now. You're not going to have any of them go, I'll tell you what I would do. There's a really great bottle of wine down at nobody's going to say that.
No, because you don't want to get through a crisis, Cristy, and have to heal. Like I'm already in my head knowing how I'm going to deal with this once I'm off the medicine. I'm going to keep with the same plan, but I already have a plan in place. Like in my brain, that's what keeps me moving. I'm like, okay, when you're on this, you're going to do this, then you're going to do this, and you and Cristy, you're going to talk. So knowing I have a plan for the next couple of weeks coming up has been helpful, but I don't want to come on the other side of this being that further behind. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, well, I know I'm just making this up, 10 pounds of water weight gain. I'm making that up. Well, I don't want to have another 10 because of Domino's, like Cristy said. So you don't want to come on the other side of your crisis, on the other side of your challenge, on the other side of your medical, whatever you're going through, being not only behind and feeling like you have to catch up because of what happened medically, which is normal, but then also being that much further behind because of choices you made when you weren't feeling well. That is really important to keep in mind. And that has kept me going, Cristy, just thinking in my head, okay, Christy's coming to visit me on this date. I plan to be back to this certain level of stasis by this date, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that. I can't believe I have no excuse. I completely lost my train of thought. It is
That's
gone.
Okay. That happens to me all the time. But I think having a plan in place on what you're going to do when you get to the other side of this is so important, because you can reach out to the community. You may not know what it's going to look like as you heal from whether it's a medical crisis or an emotional crisis. You may not know, but having an idea of how you're going to tackle it, just having a plan in place, like even if your house is a mess and you just say, we're going to clean the bathroom today, it just makes you feel so much better knowing that you have a plan in place.
Totally. And thank you. That helped me figure out what I was going to say. In the Code Red Network, I come live to you guys. What I've been doing is Tuesday, Thursday, Sundays, 3 times a week. I come live to the public feed and I just talk. Today I was on for 40 minutes, sis. And a lot of times I'll have people that log on. We have over 100 people watching live every time that I'm on there. And I'll come on and we'll just talk about whatever's going on with different people. And a lot of times someone will say, yeah, well, this is going on. My mother-in-law is here for Christmas. Well, I got in trouble at work. Well, we're having layoffs. Well, my husband's cheating on me, all these things. And it's really, I have become better as I've gotten older and about handling these situations. When I see somebody, well, I gained my weight back because of blank. I have been like, okay, all right. I acknowledge this, Sally. I hear what you're saying. Yes, it's tough when your mother-in-law's bringing it in the house. Yes, it's tough that your husband did not honor your marriage vows. Yes, I hear you. I acknowledge you. I am so sorry you're going through that. But it's always going to be something. So
Yes.
we have to look at, we have to wrap our arms around. It's good to be heard. It's good to acknowledge, I'm sorry that you're going through that, but we are not going to let you crumble. We're not going to let you give in to the crap food and deal with your problems using those unhealthy methods. We are going to stand with you. We're going to wrap our loving arms around you, but I'm not going to let you go down that route.
So then where do you go from there? I mean, if you don't have a plan and you don't move forward, you just continue to move backwards, or you just work really, really hard to tread water, because honestly, treading water is sometimes more work than just swimming forward.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? Like, it's harder just to tread water than it is just to move forward and keep taking your life back and keep moving your body and keep eating off the foods list and keep, measuring and managing your intake every day and keep drinking your water. It's actually harder just to stay in one spot and try not to get fat again. That's more work.
Yeah. Yeah.
People forget that.
It really is. It really is. And we're here for you in the Code Red network with whatever you're going through, but understand we are not going to accept that as we're going to expect you to level up, and we're going to expect you we're going to come around you, and we're going to help you realize what you can control is more than what you think. And we're not going to accept less than your best.
I think, Cristy, it might even be helpful for some of the listeners that are going through a challenging time right now to maybe make a list of what you can control, like write it down. Like, I know Cristy and I are big fans of pen and paper. I don't know. Okay. So yes, that's funny that you have that, because I have all different colors too. When I write notes, I have to pick the pen that coordinates with the stationery I'm using, because I am mentally insane. So you got to coordinate.
I love it.
My black one just went out. I was just trying to write a note and it went out, and I was like, well, I guess I better go to Amazon and order myself some.
That's exactly right.
But I think writing down, number one, like if you have a crazy medical situation going on, number one, I can go to bed on time every night. Even though I don't feel good, I can drink my water every day. Number three, I can spend a half hour to an hour on the Code Red network connecting with other rebels and watching videos. I can watch one of Cristy's podcasts today. I can read my Bible. I can talk about something to be thankful for if you're a believer. So there is a list, like your mother-in-law's there, or, maybe you're the mother-in-law, who knows, your daughter-in-law is driving you crazy. What can you do? I can cook nutritious food and offer it to this family, whether they want to eat it or not. It's available. I can control my portions and my foods. I can treat myself kindly by getting out and taking a walk after dinner. So there are things that you can do. Like Cristy says, when you start writing it down, you'll realize you have more control than you understand. And then you realize, and what's really cool about that, Cristy, is that when you write it down, you understand this, you take power back. You take power back from that illness. You take power back from those, like for me, the medications that are making me feel foggy. I've now taken the power back because I've made a list. I take the power back from that toxic person I have to be around. I take the power back from that abusive relationship into my hands. And if you can shift your power differential, you can, it's like putting your truck in 4-wheel drive. You can get past anything at that point.
I love that. And I remember the day that I left that abusive relationship, and I got up, and I remember there aren't a lot of memories that I have, because I just have lost, you get hit in the head every other day for 8 years. You're probably going to have some damage. And I do have a brain injury that I sustained from a fight that probably accumulation of many fights, but specifically after a fight that I had in Albany, New York against Elizabeth Mooney. And I remember specifically things really changing after that fight. And the doctor said, you got something called second impact syndrome, and you need to be careful for the rest of your life. So, but I do specifically remember the day that I walked out. I had a backpack on. I left behind 2 cats because I had to get away, and I literally walked away with the things in my backpack. And it was a horrible feeling in the fact that I just was, I was humiliated. I was full of shame. I was full of just everything. I just was, I was broken, always broken to my core. But there was something powerful about walking away, saying, all right, I'm taking the power back. And there are pathways that are built when you put pen to paper, and we encourage you to do that. It's a great idea, sis. Take the power back. Nobody robs you like, just you don't need to give all your power away to everybody else, to your mother-in-law, or to your daughter-in-law, or to your boss that's grumpy, who doesn't appreciate you. There are things you can't control.
That is, and I love that you say, don't give it away. Don't give it away so easily. Yes, things are hard. Yes, you're going through a hard time, but you can control what you can control, and hang on to that. Because like Cristy said, that power she felt, even in that moment of brokenness, that you can, it's so funny. I was just thinking about people being in the hospital. They would say things when I was working in the ICU, like, can you just fix mom's hair? And mom's on a ventilator, and I mean, she's clinging to life, and they want me to get the pick and pick out her hair, which I'm fine. I did, because that was what they could control. So don't give that up. If that's important to you, don't give that power up. I completely agree with you, Cristy, on that one.
Well, wow. What a great podcast. I like when we share with you personal stuff that we go through, because I think that helps you know that we understand a certain amount. I think that there are people that understand more than what you think. You are not alone. We get you. People in our community get you. We can come around you and love you through this, but we are going to expect you to hold your head up and stand up straight and walk one step in front of the other. You can do this. We will hold you up, but you are going to have to move your feet. Yeah. We can get you. We can get you there, but you're going to have to do some of the work here, and you're going to have to show up. You have to actually come to the network. That way we can, I can't come get you. It's so frustrating to me when I want it more than them. I can't want this more than you. You have to show up and let us love you, and we can get you there, and we're going to hold your feet to the fire, and we're going to hold you accountable, because you're better than that. You can do this. You can get through this. There is more you can control than what you think. Amen. That's excellent. Very true. Controlling what you can. Is that what we named it? Control.
Yeah, I like that. Control what you can.
Control what you can. Yeah. And I hope you enjoyed this episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. And like I've mentioned several times, we do have the Code Red Network that is off of social media. It's been off of social media since September of 2021. And that's a place where you can go that is a one-stop shop. Everything Code Red in that app. You can access the app from a desktop or from your mobile device. Oops, I wanted to lift up my phone. I ting from your mobile device. So you can go to coderedlifestyle.com/APP, become a part of our private community, because, social media platforms are very, very unstable in today's world. Remember when we all thought MySpace was never going to, MySpace is never going to go away. Well, platforms come and go, but the Code Red Network is here to stay. We love you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. We will see you on the next one. Take care, guys.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. If you're not subscribed already, please be sure to do that right now. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you could do me a quick favor and rate and review this podcast. That would be just so helpful. Speaking of help, let me know if I can help you. Go to coderedlifestyle.com, check out my programs, and see what we can do for you. Until next time, Rebel on.